Rugby union, the sport of champions.
Invented by a rebel, perfected in the north, and brutalised down at the fortress we call Twickenham.
It's a genuine spectacle, full of crunching tackles, genuinely goosebump-inducing anthems, commentators who aren't afraid to have a bit of fun both on and off the air.
Matt, not so many scrums to talk about here. I'm trying to imagine you playing in a game like this. It's not exactly built for blokes like us, is it, to be honest?
No, absolutely. You want to see my undergarments at the moment?
you're not really, Matt. Do you want to describe them to us?
Sweaty.
Oh, God. What do you...
And referees who do things like this.
Just changing his option and kicking the ball straight at Wayne Barnes.
It's a sport that's inherently cinematic in many regards, especially if you've got a French match director. They love a good slow-mo replay.
But unlike football, it's a sport you don't really see much of in mainstream movies. And given the state of the game right now when it comes to the admin side of things and exposure to the greatest game in the world, yeah, I'm a little bit worried, and this is coming from a Sale fan. Since the game went professional in 1995, rugby has been overlooked by the masses because people still think it's running up and down a field for 80 minutes with the occasional aggressive hug here and there. It's a sport that's very difficult to commit to film because it's law heavy. It's a confusing game full of line-outs, scrums, high tackles, concussions, even the occasional ACL tear. Feel for Jack Willis. Ooh. You just can't link it to film. But if you go deep enough, you can. Yes, some former players may have made the leap from the better ball sport to big screen roles following their retirement. BT Sport's own Martin Bayfield is the prime example of this.
Ladies, big man. He would walk out of a shower and we would just applaud.
Because he filled in as
Robbie Coltrane's arse as his stunt double for Hagrid the Giant for the last 10 years. Yeah, it's a job.
I don't blame him, he's a beast. But in terms of depictions of the game itself, well, Hollywood have unfortunately struggled.
There have been many attempts to get the game on the big screen in some capacity, whether it's screenings of games like the home matches of England's 2010 Six Nations campaign against Wales and Ireland respectively, which were also handily the very first live broadcast of a rugby match in 3D to cinemas. Or even during the restart last year when a variety of view sites put the Super Saturday games on Halloween, the very night that Lockdown 2 was announced. But the most commercially well-known film about rugby is the Clint Eastwood drama from 2010, Invictus, which focused more on the story of how Nelson Mandela brought the country of South Africa together ahead of the first of many, many, many Rugby World Cup wins.
Now obviously that 1995 World Cup win was big because it brought the whole country together and it was the crowning moment for what Mandela did in South Africa. We can't blame it. But casual audiences were just seeing that film for Morgan Freeman and Matt Damon. And I've got to admit, Damon made a very convincing Francois Pienaar. But aside from that, there wasn't much in terms of, well, the game being played, aside from the film's climax and that iconic drop goal.
Plus, the rugby sequence in Scorsese's The Departed lasted just 35 seconds.
It's like they're teasing us only to kick it into touch and to force the line out, which we as cinema goers lose. At least Mr. Damon is able to prove in this film that he knows how to be everything that the sport isn't. I mean, for a number 10, flipping the bird like that at the opposition? Nigel, do your thing.
This is not soccer. Is that clear? Back and go and get on with the game.
At the minute, all we get are documentary-driven pieces. Things like Building Jerusalem, all about this particular game and the build-up to it. Yes, I have the 2003 final on DVD. Full-blown rugby nose here. Amazon's All or Nothing series about the All Blacks. Steelers about the first openly gay team in the sport. And more timely pieces like Everybody's Game, directed by hot rising New England talent, just got called up into the Six Nations squad, the fantastic Beno Obano.
Or as BT Sport's own Nick Mullins once described him,
he's a good rap singer.
Nick, I don't think they call them rap singers. I think they're rappers.
Rappers, are they?
Come on, mate. Come on, bro.
And of course, the documentary that the whole rugby world was talking about back in November, Dan Leo's Oceans Apart, about blood, sweat and betrayal within Pacific Island rugby. These are countries like Fiji and Tonga who are promising talents in the global game, but importantly, the amount of greed on World Rugby's part, bloody hell. That's on top of the lack of a decent video game too. Don't get me started on the whole there's never been a successor to Jonolomu Rugby for PlayStation 1. I'm not going to wade into that. I'm going to leave it to Ugo and the BT Sport boys. The industry needs to go upstairs to the television match official in my eyes, because while football has had films like Goal from 2005, Mike Bassett England Manager, The Football Factory and many other showcases of the so-called beautiful game, us Norses have had just those two major movies and the occasional indie film to satisfy our needs. We need to do better than this because, let's be honest, how many people only know about this drop goal that the Aussies can't bear to rewatch?
Johnny Wilkinson, he drops for World Cup glory! It's over! He's done it!
To think we were so close back in November 2019.
as we sit here on Super Saturday, which a few weeks ago was meant to be the culmination of rugby's greatest tournament, the Six Nations, which this year has seen a lot of red mist, courtesy of the Welsh, a French team who have been revitalised yet breaching COVID protocols by going out for waffles, a Scotland team who have exhibited a never-say-die attitude throughout the entire tournament, even with the France game being called off, an Irish side who have not had the best of luck on their side this year, an Italian side who have played a lot better than they have done in recent years, and an English side that underwhelmed at first but managed to make up for lost time with the France game.
And just months before the Lions tour potentially goes ahead, either here, over in South Africa, or it's looking more and more likely to be Australia. Surely one Hollywood producer must be thinking about a story to tell from a sport that's had its ups and downs over the last 25 years since it went professional. Whether it's that miraculous Japanese team working wonders at their own World Cup 2 years ago, more recently the electrifying feat of Argentina, a Tier 2 country, beating the All Blacks. Or even Exeter being, well, Exeter and doing the double, that's winning the Premiership and the Heineken Cup back-to-back last season. Hell, even a comedy movie featuring Channel 5's equivalent of Laurel and Hardy from the Highlight Show would be brilliant.
Ignore the great platypus at all times, is my advice to you henceforward. Stop. He's a complete nutter. Stop.
If anything, Hollywood needs to tune in to BT Sport, watch a couple of Premiership games, and realise something that me and a legend up in Scotland by the name of Bruce Aitchison have been proclaiming for a very, very long time. And it truly is a case that happiness is egg-shaped.
One of the nice things about Union in particular, there aren't as many handbags compared to, well, League.
They're swinging! The touch judge has been involved in it all! This is unbelievable!